It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
Hello, my name is Tyrone Lowe. This is my show, The Legends. I want to thank everybody that actually subscribes around my show and show me love. In the House of the Legends, we have DJ Flame, GrandMixer DXT, and my homeboy, Devon Franklin from Extremities Radio. You guys, welcome to The Legends.
Thank you for having me
GrandMixer DXT,
again.
welcome to the House of the Legends.
Thanks for having me.
This guy right here, man, I like him already, but we're going to get into him in a little bit. DJ Flame.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the beginning for you because you've been around for a very long time and you got a lot to talk about when it comes to hip hop.
Okay, so.
How did you get started?
Okay. So I started when I was 13, 1976. And I started in the club, and it was an after-hour club called Emma's Place. And there was a DJ there. I can't remember his name right now. Okay. Well, one of the house DJs. I used to watch him all the time, and I was like, wow, this guy is really good, and I want to do what he does,
Right.
And he would just, watch him, and then one day he's like, I gotta go get a drink, watch the turntables, you know what I mean? I was like, I can't do it. He said, you can do it. He said, next time, he said, mix the record to the next record. And I was like, I can't do that. And I did it, and then of course the owner, he would, his disposition that he was very protective of the club and his equipment. So he would be like, what is this little girl? Because I was 13, but I didn't look 13, but I was there because Emma and my mom, they were, really good friends, and my mom worked nights, and she know that I love music, and instead of me running out in the street, she'd rather, have me babysit down there with her. And so he would always yell at me and say, don't be messing up my equipment,
okay.
And so I'm kind of unconventional in how I started.
Right.
Because I started in a club, and most people started in the street trying to get into a club.
Right, okay.
And then I had my own group actually beforehand. I had two MCs, female.
Right.
Sweet and Sour and Jazzy Jean.
Okay.
And I was having a birthday party, so they was like, you could DJ, at the birthday party. And so I went and asked, and, Scotty was kind of looking at me. He was like, all right. And he looked at the DJ and was like, is she good enough to do it? And he was like, oh, yeah,
That's cool.
let's do it, And so I did my birthday party. And of course, the group broke up because we were young. We were in junior high school, And so I ran into a brother who's Black Spades. My cousin used to go with this Black Spade. I'm getting nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous, but I'm getting nervous. Cut this part out.
Don't worry, the cops won't be here no time soon.
No, not at all.
Crazy James. And so he was a Black Spade, and we had a mutual friend. His name was Dynamite.
Right.
And his nephew was a DJ, and he invited me over to his house to spin because he was like, I heard you can spin. Like, let me see what's up. And I didn't have a system at the time, so I went there, started spinning. This girl walked in, doorbell rang, girl walked in. She stood on the floor, was looking at me with her mouth open, like.
Yeah.
And so.
I can imagine.
She was shocked, huh?
Yeah, she was shocked. And so I got off the turntable. She was like, what's your name? And at that time, my name was DJ Lil Spank.
Okay.
And so she said, you're good. And then homeboy said, you get on the turntables. I was like, wait a minute, she can play too?
Right.
So that's the first other female DJ I've ever seen.
Okay.
So that was Baby D from the Mercedes Ladies.
Okay.
So Baby D came, and she started cutting. And I was like, so I'm in the middle of the floor like her going, looking at her
Right.
and admiring her. And so she was like, hey, listen, you're dope and we're looking for a DJ. Why don't you join our crew? And I was like, wait a minute, there's other females like you guys, like that can do what you just did?
Right.
Yo, I'm in. Who do I see? She come down for rehearsals. Went down to rehearsals, Franklin Avenue, 168th Street. Went inside the home. Grand Wizard Theater on the turntable.
Okay. That's history
Busy B.
right there.
Starsky on the microphone.
Okay.
Cordio at the time, he was up in there. And then the Mercedes Ladies. So I'm looking and I'm like, I knew nothing about hip hop.
Right.
So I walked into all this greatness, hip hop
Okay.
greatness, and didn't even know it. And so they was like, oh, because I mixed. I did disco.
Right,
And so, we did block parties and, around the way. I lived in Gun Hill houses, grew
Okay.
up in Gun Hill houses, uptown.
Right.
The first female DJ uptown, right? And couldn't believe that I was down with all this greatness.
Right.
And so they put me in the group, and I was down and I guess they was gonna get rid of one girl and I said, why do that? When there's 6 of us, like, we're gonna be dope, And we're all females, 3 MCs and 3 DJs.
My question to you is, being a lady, was there any tension about you being a woman actually spinning? Did you reflect any type of energy from other DJs, male DJs, I might say?
All the time.
Okay.
They basically went out their way to sabotage me. Like I remember we did the Rennie with Flash. We went through a lot. They hazed us big time. Pulling out 1/4 inch from the amps. And, you get up there. And
Wow,
there's
that's
no sound.
something, man?
It's like all kinds of stuff. But our manager was Trevor. We had the same manager as the L Brothers. And when again, with Busy B. Starsky, Grand Wizard Theater, that group was the L Brothers. They were like the brother group because we shared the same manager of the Mercedes Ladies.
Okay.
We actually practiced on the same equipment.
Okay.
In the same, space, so yeah, they taught us, how to, break down equipment, put up equipment, and then I learned from Uptown because not only was I around in Emmers, I was up in T Connection. And I am the only female to ever have a residency in a hip hop club,
Wow.
the T Connection.
I got a question. You mentioned earlier that you did disco DJing as opposed to hip hop.
Yeah.
Can you explain what the difference is between disco DJing and hip hop DJing?
Okay, so disco, and I know he's going to have a whole big thing about the disco thing, but at that
We'll get into it
time,
next.
I ain't saying that.
at that time, we all knew that it was a discotheque. Disco was out at that time. We played primarily like the block parties, like funk.
Keep
Like
it
I
rolling.
was
I'm
the
keep
DJ
going.
in my house, So we, would play anywhere from funk to, no hip hop because that wasn't even,
Right.
then, But we did
I'll take the 2
soul
minutes
and
to PSA.
jazz and even classical. I mean, I was sitting. My mother had me sitting up there listening to Jackie Gleason.
Wow.
And so, my musical background is kind of diverse. And so even when we came down for beats for hip hop,
Right.
because the transition was me mixing, just blending. I was a blender,
Right.
doing that and then going into hip hop. That's when I learned from Mercedes Ladies, Grand Wizard Theater. I hadn't met DXT, yet. but we were, all in the same uptown vicinity.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back. You guys stay tuned.
It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
We got some fun people in the house tonight.
This is our house. It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
My assignment, my calling is to inspire, uplift.
You have to make sure your people are partying.
All I want to do is just bring joy to the dance floor and watch people dance.
Hey, we're back. My name is Tyrone Lowe. This is my show, The Legends. In the House of the Legends, I have DJ Flame, GrandMixer DXT, and my co-host, Devon Franklin from Extremes Radio. GrandMixer, that's only a joke. GrandMixer DXT. Welcome to the show, man. My question to you is, what is hip hop, man? To you.
Wow, you open with a very difficult question, and unfortunately, it leads down a dark path. But I'm gonna try to stay away from getting too deep and having people jumping off bridges. What does it mean? I can tell you what it meant for me. What it means now is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Growing up in the 70s, I grew up in an entertainment environment. My mom sang, aunt sang, musicians, sister danced with Chuck Davis, Forces of Nature, like professional stuff. And so I was around music. I grew up as a drummer.
Right.
And so I played drums from a child. Okay. I played in junior high school and all that. But to be impressed by a DJ whose persona was like a rock star, and he just had speakers, turntable, mixer, and you're standing there and you're completely blown away.
Okay.
That's Cool Herc.
Yep.
Okay.
And that was the experience I had when I went to his parties. Now, mind you, there were other DJs that had played in clubs and stuff like that, but like Herc, there were none. There was one great rival who was also one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing as far as being a hip hop DJ, and that was DJ Smoke, who was Herc's nemesis.
Okay.
And for me, what hip hop was based on that experience of these street celebrities with sound systems that, and playing records that you never heard before.
Right? Yeah.
And you did not hear them on the radio. And they were hit records. They just did not get on the radio. And so as a musician and as a drummer, my focus was drums.
Your imagination so like enhanced.
So I automatically connected to those rhythms. Over time, I discovered that all of this experience is an epigenetic experience. This is something that is written in our code, and we have recycled back to it through all of the social roller coaster issues that we've gone through.
Yeah.
And so it's what it is for me is a connection to my ancestors through physical expression, through artistic expression, through verbal expression in a language that's not in the frequency of our genetic makeup. And so with that understanding, it tells me that I need to look further at what this experience is, because if it wasn't any good, we wouldn't see the extraction of it.
Absolutely.
I see what you're saying.
And we would not see 20 years of diverting the consciousness to the destruction that we now see.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so And that brings us to how I see it now.
Yeah. You know, what would you say as far as the transition of substance from now to then? Because now it's at a point now where it's at a destruction dealing with other major artists, major hip hop artists, you know, being very personal, political, and I would say in a sense envious to the point where they want to actually take them down to a different level right now.
Well, it's clear now that this was done by design.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You cannot have the bulk or the majority of the conscious mind speaking to the young people. Can't have that if you want to stay in control.
Right, okay.
And so we went from fight the power to niggas with attitudes. And I'm not going to bang on those brothers because they are also victims.
Yeah,
Right,
good
right.
brothers.
You know what I'm saying? And they're talented. But at that time, most of us didn't understand the
know.
process of social engineering within this entertainment business.
Yeah.
You think that you could make songs about love and happiness and how to live right and do right. And if somebody's gatekeeping that
Right.
and saying all that's going to get through at this record label is kill them up and drink them up and shoot them up and sex them up. And I'm going to give you $1 million to do that.
So we can lock them up.
And so you have already the conditioning of the local drug dealer who's already poisoning his own community. It's much easier for him not to do that, but to still poison,
Right,
but
right.
just verbally, where they have the bigger reach through the radio stations, through the record companies.
So would you say the music has an influence? Because a lot of people say that the music don't influence. It's like the community influenced the music.
No, you can just look at what has happened in the last 20 years, and that answers that question. We have young brothers tearing each other to pieces with automatic weapons, and we actually have the top artists right now on social media acting like bitches.
Okay, can you come?
Excuse me, but I had this.
Well, listen, man.
Let's go
freedom
back.
of speech.
Let's go back, and we have artists at the top of the game right now, not being men.
Yeah.
Not acting like men. And men don't get on social media and attack another person's personality, his clothes, what he owns. But there's something wrong here with the consciousness of our people, where we have this degradation of consciousness of what our ancestors, who the best of what they have is what we should be using to move us forward. And we're not doing that through this music.
DJ Flame, let's talk about the influences on the impact that it's having for the younger generation right now that's really trying to get into hip hop. You know, what do you feel is going to be something inferior, or is it going to be something that's really going to be kind of saddened to a sense of their reaction, their lifestyle, and the way that they actually follow, you know?
Well, as you know, it's everything, you know, ditto to you know what G said. But I find that they're lost. You know, we have a lost generation. You know, everything is social media. Everything is influencing. You know, nobody wants to know the history. You know, it's about clicks and likes and, you know, shares, and, you know, people don't even care about music. Some, like when you was talking earlier about Stetsasonic, and I was like, yes, you know what I mean, it's fire.
Right.
You know, like we need, you know, more DXTs. We need more Stetsasonics, you know, coming out and, you know, showcasing, you know, the essence, the true essence of hip hop, because it's been watered down, it's been manipulated, it's just, you know, it's a tool, you know, and when we were a part of this thing, you know, creating this thing, because we are first generation DJs.
Right.
So when we came to do this, it was fun. It was a recreational. We wasn't trying to get paid. We wasn't trying to get a record deal.
Just having a good time.
we were just having a good time. And, sometimes, we brag about how bad we was and, how dope we are.
I remember those days, of course, yeah.
But it wasn't a beef. It wasn't, people weren't getting killed. People weren't creating contracts and having secret meetings, so industrial complexes, can overshadow the whole industry and come against black and brown and Latino, people, Latin people. It's just, it's a sad state of affairs. And I mean, the other day I was on Facebook and there was someone, I forgot what the remix was, but I just couldn't get past the comment.
Right.
Because the person did a remix and someone got on there and talked about the original artist. And they were like, oh, wow, well, they should be, glad that this person picked up, their song because nobody would listen to it anyway.
Wow.
And I was just like, huh? There's such a disconnect.
There's a lot.
I think the culture is just off course. Somewhere along the line, it just went off course, and
this
well,
is,
we never
and this
really
is
tried
why,
to. It never, actually never recovered.
But we can
Go ahead.
speak to that. It didn't go off course.
Okay.
It was taken off course.
right?
Okay.
Absolutely.
And it was taken
Well said.
off
Well
course
said. I received that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
by the
Absolutely.
record industry and the people behind the record industry.
It's about making money.
And it's even deeper than money because they print money, the same people.
Oh yeah. Well.
And so
Okay.
we're talking about a social engineering project that was profound, and you can clearly see the 20 years it took to get us to where we are through our own cultural expression.
yeah.
And so while we're chasing the dollars, we're
It's
not
such-
recognizing the damage, the long-term damage.
Exactly.
You
It's a
wake-
violation.
You wake up and you're on your way to school and you're going to first grade and you're listening to Let a Nigga Try Me, They're Gonna Catch a Homie.
Wow.
Or
Yes, that's
Molly
okay.
Percocet. So 20 years you're hearing this and you're playing the video games and all of this.
So technology has a lot to do with it.
It's all part of the social construct.
Yeah. And
it,
come with the industry plants and
right.
all of that.
And so what it has done is created this mindset of a disconnect of humanity. The children don't have any remorse,
Right.
no empathy. And this has been extracted through the process of the entertainment business. And check that name out, entertainment.
I hear you.
I want to end here. What I'm about to say is
Okay.
that why I'm saying it like that is because I've come to the conclusion that I don't think we really understand how this language really works.
Okay.
And there's a hypothesis called the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. And what it says is if you can change a person's language, you are also rewiring their brain computer.
Okay.
And I think that this experience demonstrates the possibility of that hypothesis.
DJ Flame, let's talk about some upcoming events that you want the viewers to know about.
Well, I just wanted to just speak on,
Okay, go ahead.
just kind of piggyback because that's the reason.
Make it briefly, because we're almost at the end.
That's the reason why I do gospel now.
Right.
Because, I bring the message of hope. Like Mr. Dell, he was down with 3-6 Mafia. He's a pastor now.
Right.
Hope dealer. That's, that's what he is known as. So you want to get somebody known? Hope dealer.
That's
That's
bananas, hope dealer.
And so, and he went right back to Memphis and in his hood, and rearranged. So that's what, I believe God has, engineered me to do, and that's the reason why, even though, I've done so much in the hip hop, as being first generational, as being a trailblazer, there's so many firsts that I've done. And he's witnessed, me do those things. And I've been in such a situation where people will try to cancel you, because they don't like you or you don't fit, you're not cookie cutter, You know, I'm not wearing red bottoms and Manolo boots, and you know, so I don't, you know, it doesn't register.
I hear you.
But what registers is the culture.
Okay.
And people need to understand the history of the culture. And until you understand the history of the culture, you can't do anything about fixing the future or the industry, because industry is not culture. And so I'm ecstatic that I'm able to bring different genres of music, but especially holy hip hop and urban gospel music to his, you know, events that he's been doing, and you know, Harlem Week, the Hill
Reunion.
Hill Reunion, and different things. Don't get deep. We going
Well, GrandMixer, DXT.
Hold on, she's leaving
We got
out.
like 15
my
seconds.
God.
Yeah, she's leaving out something important.
Okay.
But
She
we
was-
have
she
like
was
15
one of-
seconds, so bring it
Yeah,
out.
she was one of the dopest MCs,
I can imagine.
and she doesn't say anything about that. At the time of the prime of the female rappers,
for real?
she was in the top 3.
But that's my
No doubt, and refused to do it.
Hidden treasures, huh?
Yeah.
I hear you. But listen, I'm flattered to have both of you guys on the show.
We gotta come back.
Can I do the drop now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we're going to be on Times Square, Beach Rhyme and Relief, and Run Rep Your Nation. We're doing Battle Champs for the Culture Fund. Battle Champs on Times Square. We're going to have battles of all the 5 elements of hip hop: breakdancing, DJing, MCing, beatboxing, you name it. We're going to have it all, and graffiti.
Oh, that's great.
So we did it last year. We had 1.45 million people in 3 days.
Wow, that's fast.
So come on down.
And don't forget, Sunday of that event, I'm gonna be bringing the hope
Yeah.
to the
All right now.
to the battle.
Pleasure to have both of y'all on my show, and come again.
Thank
And,
you.
and
we
we've
will,
been listening to
we will.
DJ Flame, GrandMixer DXT in the house. I got my man Devon Franklin from Extreme Radios, and you guys stay tuned for another T-Lo video production.
MC Heaven on the Legends, Bronxnet TV, DJ Flame, thank you for having me in the place, and you know how we do it all day. GrandMixer DXT, you ain't really play. You kick the lines, talk about the MC, hip-hop back in the days, how it used to be. Tyrone Lowe got the show rocking non-stop. Natalie, Devon Franklin, here we go. We gonna rock from the bottom to the top. How we do? MC Heaven's on the mic, and I'm flowing like, ooh, yeah, I like to rock the house. MC Heaven, no doubt, and we rockin' non-stop. Hip-hop knowledge, to run DMC College. Shit, they broke it down from back in the days, and here we go. We gonna rock it, hip-hop always. Yeah, listen, what? Cause I'm heaven, to be precise. I'm quite nice. I used to rock for the world, but now I rock for Christ. Devoured the enemy's power, I'm in effect. I'm stronger than the world because I have been resurrected. Heaven, to be precise, I'm quite nice. I used to rock for the world, but now I rock for Christ. Everybody, throw your hands in the air. Wave them side to side like you just don't care. Everybody, throw your hands in the air. Wave them side to side like you just don't care. Now somebody, anybody, everybody, scream!
It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.